Hello guys, welcome to Codecrafters, and in this video we are going to study about static variables and final variables. So how to create static variables and how you can use it in the main method, how to create methods of static variables and everything. So let's just get started with examples, okay? Now we already created a class named static and we have a main method here. Let's create another class, let's say studemo, okay? And inside this we are going to actually declare two variables. One is the normal instance variables and the other one is a static variable. So public, and we'll give the access specifier as public string name, and public static string class name. Okay, so you have created a normal variable and the other one is a static variables. Now let's try to access them in the main method. So let's create, for example, let's create two objects for this class. StudDemo. S1 is equal to new StudDemo. Same way StudDemo. S2 is equal to new StudDemo. So now we have created two objects of this StudDemo class, or let's say the student demo. No, I have already created class of this actually. Yeah, so I created two objects of this studemo, right? So our next thing is to declare or assign values for this name. S1 dot name is equal to David and S2 dot name is equal to, let's say, Steve, and we are going to print it. There's one more shortcut for system.out.println in Eclipse. You can just write sys out and control plus space will give you the rest of the sentence. So student name one is s1 dot name. Let's just use the same line here, and here we'll just give s2 dot name. Now let's run the code. Yeah, you got the output. Student name 1 is David and student name 2 is Steve, right? Here we declared the instance variable and then we are using it in the main method by creating objects. Now, how will you actually access these static variables? You don't have to create an object for static variable. Do you know why? In Java, static variables are actually associated with the class rather than the instance of the class. So instance here, I mean the objects. So static variables are not associated with the objects. They are associated with the class. So whenever you need to access a static variable, you will be accessing it with the class name, not by creating an object for the static variable. The reason is because you don't have to create an object for a static variable is that the static variables are initialized when the class is loaded itself, right? Whereas the other variables are not initialized right then. That's why we have to create an object in the main method. So they belong to the class itself and not like to a particular instance or object of the class. As they are not belonging to them, we are not going to create an object. So to use static variables, you will be calling the class name first. Our class name is studemo, and then dot, and then you will call the variable name of the static variable. So class name. Then you will give the class. Right now our class is Java. So let's say Java tutorial. And let's just print it. Class name studemo dot class name. Right? Yeah, you got it. Our class name is Java tutorial. Okay. Now, let's create some few methods of the same normal method and static method. First, let's create a normal method. Public void student names. That's the method name. And then we'll just print sys out names, name of the student. This actually going to be, the output is going to be the same. We are just going to get two names here, but we're not going to actually call the names here. We'll just call the method here. Instead of these two lines, we are just going to say s1 dot the method name is student names, and the same way s2 dot student names. So now you'll get the output like this, name of the student. Here we are actually accessing the variable using the method, right? Now let's create a static method. Public static void class. Okay, inside this we are going to print the class name, system.out.println. As it is inside the class, you don't have to use anything much more. Class name, the variable name is class name. Syntax error on token class. Why is that? Okay. Then here we are just going to access the method. Instead of printing this line, we will just say stud demo. As it is a static method, again you have to first call the class name, okay? And then our method is class demo. I will just print it. Yeah, the output is almost same. I told you. Almost, it's exactly same. Now, in Java, you have a thing like a constant variable. A constant variable means once you have created, you can't change the value of it. So in Java, there is also predefined constants. Like if you're trying to print math.e, you will get a value for it. This is the value of e. But even if you're trying to change this value, we can't change because it's already defined as a constant variable in predefined when Java was created. Same wise, we can also create a constant variable in Java. To create a constant variable, we will be using the final keyword. So let's say public static final int. Let's just give a number of stud is equal to 20. So now we have actually declared a variable number of stud in the final keyword, and we have assigned a value also 20. Now let's try to print the same thing. Just print number of students in the class plus stud demo dot our variable name is number of stud. See spelling correct? No, there is no need of capital S. Yeah, so you'll get the answer. But in case you're trying to change the value of this stud, you can't change it because it's actually assigned as a declared as a final variable. Let's say we have going to design 23. You get an error here. What does this error say? The final field stud demo dot number of students cannot be assigned. To remove this, you have to remove the final keyword. So once you are declaring a variable as final, you can't change the value assigned to the variable. So that's an important point to be noted. And one more thing. Here, when you're creating two methods, like one is a normal method and other one is a static method. In the static method, you can access only the variables that were declared using the static keyword. Here, our static keyword were used for class name and number of stud. But you can't access the instance variable. Like if you're trying to print the name in the static method, you can't print it. But in the reverse case situation, if you're trying to print this name, this static variable inside the normal method, you can actually print it. I'll show you how it's possible. So let's actually print this line in this method and put this method in comment section, and also do some changes in the main method. Okay, let's just print this line before here. I mean this one. Yeah. So let's try to print it. Yeah, you're getting the output even though you actually access the class static variable inside the normal method, still you're getting the output. But the same thing won't be working here if you're trying to access a normal instance variable in the static method. Java will throw an error for you, so remember this point. And one more thing, you can also call the static variables inside a constructor. Let's actually create a variable first. Public static int count of objects is equal to 0. Okay, then you're creating a constructor like public stud demo, and inside this you're just incrementing count. Okay, count of object. Yeah, so in the main method, before creating the object, you're printing a sentence like before count of objects before creation, that is stud demo dot count of objects. Same one, we'll just print it after creating the object. Let's just print it here after creation. So you got the output here. I'll just enlarge it. In the first line, you got the output like count of objects before creation is 0 because we haven't created any objects right there. And the last line, you got the output like the count of objects after creation is 2 because we have only created 2 objects. So that's how you use a static variable inside the constructor in Java. This is all the basics about final and static variable. I hope you're clear with whatever taught here. Thank you.